පෙමිනා සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අංච පුරිස පුංගලායිස භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දංගිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණේයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්ඛිතං ලෝකස්වාති.
තිරුවන් සරණයි. ධර්ම දේශනාව සඳහා අද වැඩම කළ වදාළ බම්බලපිටියේ ඥානලෝක හාමුදුරුව අපිට හරි අලුත්. අපි අහලා තියෙන කොල්ලපිටියේ මහින්ද හාමුදුරුව, ඒ වගේ කොළඹ ප්‍රදේශයෙන් මහාන වෙලා විහාරස්ථාන වල වැඩ කටයුතු කරන වික්ෂුන් වහන්සේලා හරි අඩුයි. අපි දන්න විදිහට ගමේ කොල්ලෝ තමයි මහාන වෙලා ඇවිල්ලා හුඟ පන්තල් වැඩ කරන්නේ. නගරයෙන් එන අය බොහොම අඩුයි. ඉතින් ඒ අතර ශ්‍රද්ධාවෙන් පැවිදි වෙච්ච බොහොම බුදු දහම පරිශනාත්මකව දේශනා කරන බම්බලපිටියේ පඤ්ඤාලෝක හාමුදුරන්ගේ වැඩමවීම වීටන් බෞද්ධ විහාරයේ දායකයෝ හැටියට අපි බොහොම සතුටු වෙනවා. උන්වහන්සේගේ ඒ පුරණ පාරමිතා ධර්මයන් සම්පූර්ණ වේවා. උන්වහන්සේව ලෝකයට බිහි කළ ගුරුවරුන්ට, දෙමව්පියන්ට නිවන් සුව සඳහා, සංසාර විමුක්තිය සඳහා මේ ගුණ ධර්මයන් හේතු වාසනා වේවා. උන්වහන්සේගේ සීල කටයුතු සාර්ථක වෙන්න ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමින් අද දවසේ මේ පින්කම සිද්ධ කරනා වගේම අපේ ඊළඟ උන්වහන්සේ හෙට දවසේ වොෂින්ටන් නගරයේ අපේ වොෂින්ටන් බෞද්ධ විහාරයේ ධම්මසිරි නායක හඳු වැඩ ඉන්න විහාරස්ථානයේ ධර්ම දේශනාවක් 2 ඉඳලා 4 දක්වා පැය 2ක් පමණ තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට ඊට පස්සේ උන්වහන්සේ තව දවසක් හමාරක් වෙස්ට් වර්ජිනියාට පෙර වොෂින්ටන් විහාරයේ ආශ්‍රය කරන වැඩ වාසය කරනවා. මේ ඇත්තන්ට ධර්ම කරුණු තියෙනවා නම් උන්වහන්සේ හැම වෙලාව සාකච්ඡා කරන උද අවස්ථාවක්. ඒ වගේම වෙස්ට් වර්ජිනියා වැටලා ඊට පස්සේ නිව් ජර්සි ප්‍රාන්තයට උන්වහන්සේ වැඩම කරනවා. දැන් එහෙමනම් අපි උන්වහන්සේට මේ ධර්ම සභාව වැඩ කටයුතු කරගෙන යනට ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කරමින් අපි උන්වහන්සේගෙන් මේ අපේ දායකයන්ට ඒ ධර්ම කාරණා දැනගන්නට හොඳ අවස්ථාවක් ලැබේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමින් ඔබ හැමතෙම තෙරුවන් සරණ ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
Southern Africa. So what I noticed in London and other places, they know Sinhalese more than even the Sri Lankans, I think. In Sri Lanka, I mean, living in Sri Lanka. I was very surprised, I was feeling ashamed also, but I think if you're going to school from the age of say 14 I was there, so like all the time you're at school and then you come home and then your parents also speaking English, then you can slowly forget without using the language. So this happened to me anyway. No point losing the language, but you should not lose the heart. This is most important. Now, at one time I never forget, I'm talking about languages. When I was as a young boy, I was studying in Trinity, and there I remember there was like a group of, students. They were like separating themselves, speaking in English. They used to read any Brighton books, famous 5. So I was so against English that time. My parents were so much, very keen to teach me the language, but I was rebellious against all this discrimination. Now this time I am against people attached to Sinhalese. This I noticed. These people, they think the whole world is Sri Lanka. That's an unfortunate situation. They think the whole world is Sri Lanka and frog in the well, That's something like. But I got to know this is like a question and answer session, because I already did a program. My programs are a bit like a rock concert, a meditation rock concert I call it. So tomorrow I'll have one of them like that. But today I see a lot of new people.
First of all, let me give you my blessings. All of you who have come here, may you get the strength of mind and peace of mind, free from all body of fear. Actually, for me, talking a lot is also a problem, because we are not actually monks who are like discoursing from place to place. Some of you are really meeting me just today, maybe, right? See me today also, or not? In YouTube, you are not seeing any of you?
No. Yeah, we watch YouTube and we heard your
You have heard from somewhere, no? So, this I decided this year. I was really against putting these things into YouTube or any internet. But certain information came to me from my teachers that today if you want to give the Dhamma, it has become part of their life, this internet and all these things, that if you don't give it through that technology, that it will not come to them. So, okay, I can see that. So, if I'm going to make my message or my certain effort timely, then definitely I can see a lot of long faces, don't worry. After 1 hour you will lose it, okay? You will get, don't worry, all worries and fears. You should learn to. I was told when I was coming out of, the airport, one security wanted to check because I had a special luggage with the ropes wrapped around. So when they checked and all that, he told me, you're going to do, who are you? What is your this thing? They look so unfamiliar. I said, I'm a monk. And he said, yes. Oh, well. He said, well, you are going to New York. You must have fun here. You must have fun. This is what he told me. So I was going to I want to tell him what is my kind of fun. But there's no time. Yes, that's what we want to do. We want to have fun. Really. But not an artificial fun. A real fun. That's why we become monks. That's why we follow the Buddha. Why can't we follow other people? We are not following to suffer. We are following to become happy, to become peaceful. This is the main purpose. I mean, I would not like to wear all these things if it was not giving me concrete happiness. Actually, my happiness, what I understand is that if you have a difficult situation where the world sees that this is a very big problem, this is a big difficult situation around you, but you're happy at that moment. Don't you think that is real happiness? When the circumstances are all bad, and then that time the world looks at it like, oh, what is this? It should be really sad. But then if you can make yourself happy in that time, I think that is something we should never lose. If you have such a happiness, we must master it. So I see in this practice that I was thinking in this practice that there's a happiness I call without a reason. I call the madman's happiness. So okay, next. So shall we start quickly a meditation? Shall we? I want to check something. Oh, you all have got my tricks. So I know the new people and I know the old people. So all this time, I'm going to teach you how to be in meditation even now, like while you're listening to the Dhamma. Yeah, two is good then. If one misses, the other one you can. So when I normally say meditation, you normally actually immediately you want to adjust your posture, something like that. But this is my main idea, to tell you how to meditate while you're doing every activity, especially when you're listening to the Dhamma. And but before explaining all that, do you know you're seeing a ghost in a way? If I give some little, you can see all the instruments are reacting now, I think. It's okay. I think all of you can hear me. පිටිපස්සට ඇහෙනව නේද? පස්සට නේනව නේ? It's okay. කමක් නෑ එහෙන විදියට ප්‍රශ්නේ නෑ මගේ ඇහුන්නේ නැතත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ අඩු ටික So, I must give you a little introduction, a small introduction I must give. I don't know, because you don't know anything about me. I go to the Himalayas very much. And 2009 onwards, I have been going to a special part of the Himalayas called Kailash Manasarovar. Before that, as a young boy also I used to go, age of 25. But 2014 and 15, I experienced a near-death experience in Kailash. And so you have something called altitude sickness you experience in the Himalayas. So I've seen people getting this altitude sickness and even people dying, and some recovered, managed to recover. I've seen this before in my previous trips. So we all get this altitude, it is something common on this journey, you see, but you get acclimatized after some days. And this particular trip, I got it. I didn't think I will survive. I'm going very fast, you know. You might hear the whole story, what happened. So there, certain people looked after me, the guide and the driver. But it's so remote there, you know, there's no facilities to... So I have to... One moment I thought I will not make it. When I got the feeling I will not make it, there's a practice we do where we learn to watch ourselves and see who we are really. Where is this person? And we learn to watch this. This is what the Buddha teaches us. How to train yourself to face death. You don't identify with what you die as you. You can't know something that dies, can it be really you? It can't be. But so we have to meditate or look at that special in a certain way to actually be used to that seeing. Otherwise we are accustomed to see very much this body, this consciousness as ourselves. So to see who we are really, something that is not changing, that needs some special training. So when this training was got, when I was doing this practice, so we have, this I first did it when I was in the one jungle area in Knuckles range. I was going from jungle to jungle in 2004. At that particular thing, I was faced with so much like leeches and all this body was like whipped. And that place, I was like really in a, I couldn't, like some robbers, they actually found me and they looked after me. If they were not there, you would not see me today. This was in Kalupahana, it's called, you know, Knuckles range. It's the plateau of, like not a plateau, like, you know, you have to cross this particular, it's a forest that the commandos are normally put into for training. So I started from Laggala and I was trying to cut across to Kandy. And there I was like, you know, fully damaged. And then I was lying down, they put me into kind of a small wooden stretcher. And then I was really preparing myself to calm my mind. But I couldn't calm my mind, especially the pain around this face was so severe, I was getting distracted. So then my teacher has taught us a certain meditation, how to take the original words of the Buddha for observing, for enlightenment. That was one of the sutras, was Anatta Lakkana Sutta, that which explains that this body, this consciousness is not your real self, but there is a way of observing it. So when I start to observe and to note that this body, this pain, I try to face it and see if it is pain, it can't be me. I could control it, I could sort of tell it not to have pain. If it doesn't follow my orders, so this is how the Buddha explains, Rupam Bhikkave Anatta, Rupancha Hidam Bhikkave Atta. Why is it not you? Apadaya, affliction. Like that he says, Samvatteya, Labbetacha Rupe, Evam me Rupam Hotu, Evam me Rupam Ma Ahusiti. May the body be like this, may the body not be like that. It doesn't follow your orders. So there is a way of watching your body and feelings and perception. So I was doing that. And that pain was slowly reducing. So that after that experience, I was daily practicing this. So when I came now, 2014 was several years later. At this particular situation, I was again, I was preparing myself and just accepting that situation. But before that, I got this particular thought that I couldn't share enough with the people. And because all these years I was trying to become perfect, more perfect to really go and teach the people. So on the way people have met me, but I have not specially done any programs, nothing. But 2012 I did it. I came to the public in 2012, but after that I stopped again because I was trying to become more perfect. I was thinking whenever I would know that I will never get angry or greedy to anything or have no sense of ego, then I knew I would, be good enough to teach others. I didn't want to be a hypocrite actually. So many years I was avoiding the public, but 2012 only, by chance I would say, just crowds started coming in Sri Lanka, the first program, but still I used to go and come like that. And I did few programs. So 2015, 14, I faced this first crisis and I did manage it. I'm going to cut short how I manage, I can't tell, it's a long story. But we are going for a question and thing. I have to give you some idea. Because if you are with a long face now, you must think I am not coming from a kind of a, I have faced so much things also. But then how it became because when you are facing a lot of trouble means there's something very close by. Some, like a gem is waiting for you. Like in rugby, when you are tackled, that means when you are near the try line, you get tackled by all the players. So you should just learn to continue to go, and then you will know, and especially when you're having problems, you should know you're very near a success. So anyway, 2014 I faced this, and 2015 also, but 2015 was so severe. It was like no return. Normally you go into a coma. I was about to go into such a state. Anyway, I recover. They managed to bring me back to Kathmandu, Nepal. Even that time, later on another thing happened, which was almost like, like my robes were going to be removed. I can't tell you that. I got to know like it's like the demon directly attacking. So if you're really coming close to some progress on this path, you will get a lot of obstacles. And that time I faced this, and what I cherished most, what I really liked and desired, it was like shattered in a moment. And there to survive, I learned something. Just to survive, it came to my mind, don't personalize it. But that word didn't give the real meaning. So I made a wrong English term called don't equalize it. Don't solidify it, in other words. And just to take it as phenomena, just a happening. Just a happening as a phenomenon. Let me continue. When I thought like that only, I got peace of mind. And just, that was a big step for me. So then I got to know all these problems do come even to bodhisattvas or any arahants who are fighting with the devil, I would say, directly. If you are not getting problems, that means you are in his lap. He doesn't need to trouble you, You're nicely. But if you're getting problems and difficulties, for sure, you're progressing, my friend. So that was for me a big, then 2016 also I went, but I was okay. 2017 also I did go, this after Australia. Then I decided to take all the invitations, because I was invited to states when I was, that was some years back. Some gentleman from the World Bank, I think I met him in one, he's here?
His wife is there.
Where is she?
She's here.
Oh, okay. Your husband told that I met in Puttapati, right?
Yeah.
How did you recognize me? How did you know that it was me?
Oh, I listened to your sermons.
And did he recognize he once met me?
Yeah, he remembered.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Now it's an interesting time that they are, I'm now going into public slowly. It's like a mission opening up. So it's the right time. I think I'm coming. I had to come now. There's no choice for me.
Unfortunately, he's not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Maybe he'll come to New Jersey.
That's all right. I see how the destiny is working, and it was Yasha's now. The time it was his destiny. I think after it was many years back. It was 2005, I think, or 2000.
Yeah,
When
about 15 years.
Yes.
10, 15 years, I don't know.
That's right. This is a very interesting, because did you tell what I told him when he called me? What did you say?
When you attend Arhat, that you will.
Okay, yeah. He remembers that, ne? This is what I
We
want.
were waiting actually. We were wondering
Oh.
what happened to you.
Oh, okay, you.
Yes.
Okay, you know the story now, So tell you honestly, at the age of 40, maybe I was expecting, maybe I will attain this particular state. I don't want to call a name Arahant or anything, but I would want to, I had already some experiences when I was 18 years old from South Africa, which made me, but I want to have something addition to that, because before that experience, I was very different. I used to fight, I used to get so much angry, and I was so restless, and not ordinary people. I used to get into fits. And when I was in Sri Lanka, I used to fight. Almost every other day, my parents used to get complaints. I have been caned. And those days, my hero was Bruce Lee. I'm not joking. So, and then, I used to be so, I was also inferior. I had inferior complex also, I think. I was small male. And when I was at school, I used to fight a lot, so much. And also I had to rebel against these students who were making a group and reading enlightened books and famous fight. So I didn't learn any English. I mean, of course, at home I hear, everywhere I hear, so I know the pronunciation, all this, but I refused to speak. Then we went to Lesotho, Southern Africa, when I was 14 years old. Everything in English. And then I was completely brainwashed. And 14 to 23, this age, completely English. And I couldn't speak in Sri Lankan language actually. And when I want to, later on in the Bana, of course I was, in Sri Lanka when people have to come, my Sinhalese I'm getting confused sometimes. So now I thought, actually from Australia, I thought I will be, first I thought I'm going to Australia to serve the Australian people. Then I saw it was another Sri Lanka. I complained this. But I understood the organizer, the connections are with the Sri Lankan community. But my idea is there still. But I have to make some, sort of this thing, that you must serve those countries. There's something wrong in our Buddhism. If it was really giving that universal message, because Buddha's teaching actually cannot be given. It's like swimming, You can't give it, can you lecture a lot about swimming? You have to really, do the swimming. So same the religious practices. It's only when you try to explain a lot, something you have to do, it gets distorted. So even if you explain a lot of the Bana and all that, that shows the person also has not understood very much. It's a practical thing. It has to be done. It has to be, really be done. It's a thing to be done. So anyway, when I was 2000, I was expecting this particular thing, and when I was 2012, when I was 40 years old, I was thinking maybe I'll get this particular experience. But I just only came to the public. Just people start to come and they just felt some vibration of tranquility, and they used to come at 8 and go at 4. They didn't want to go. I was wondering what happened, some kind of drug or something. Time was passing to them. And then I decided, if I do a meditation, how will it be? So I told the person who is looking after, I'm not going to meet here after anybody. This coming Saturday, I will do a meditation retreat. So he arranged 60 seats. So that day, I had some inner premonition also, something, this. Suddenly there was crowds coming from nowhere. And that's how I came to the public. Without posters, anything, it was just something, I don't know. Then I did several programs, not like this, 1 or 2, then I used to go back to jungle, to Himalayas, go back like that. And after this experience only, I decided to get accept the invitation. So it was first Australia. But I must tell you, I was in Rishikesh, Himalayas. And at that time, somebody told me 2-3 years back, Swamiji, they used to tell me, Rishikesh means the foothills of Himalayas, right? They told me, Swami, when you're 45 years old, you will have no time to come to this area. And it's very true. I want to tell something, there's some destiny also, it's karma. So I think I'm destined to meet you here. Because one thing, I'm so allergic to people, I don't want to even be with another person. but I have a lot of love for the people. I don't know what is that. That I like even some things there. But otherwise, I like to always be alone. So anyway, this is my some background how I came. But one thing I want to tell about this, and my main mission. Someone telling Bante normally, you know, monks, lot of monks, they tell a sutra and explain it. But in your case, Bante, you normally, you know, like you tell your own personal experiences, and then and then okay, I do explain the last part, how to make the sutta meditation object, how to really do it. So the parts. Then when I was telling like that, I told my main mission is, my friend, is to not to explain a sutta, but to make you experience the sutta. This is my mission actually. So that how to really experience, there's a vision that comes from the Dhamma vision. So this is my actually, what is blocking towards that I explain. What is today with the computers, I will tell how the spirits, but I am not doing a program here, right? It's like tomorrow I will explain if anyone, because I already did it, 3 hours, right? I already did. But there are a lot of young people here, I wish I could explain all that. Because for them especially, so what do you like to know from me?
At least whatever you have told in the Vatkai temple, at least you can just give us a summary. We would greatly appreciate one day.
You were there at the temple?
No, I was not there.
Oh,
And I think
okay.
most of them were not there at this field.
How many of you were not there? I think I see a lot of new faces. How many? Okay. Oh, less, huh? Very few. Most of them have been, now I think they got caught to my drugs. Others, they just will follow. They call it Abhin. Gnanaloka Abhin.
Can we ask some questions?
Yes. Better you go. Other I'm bored also, repeating all this.
First of all, let me say thank you so much for coming here and enlightening us on a different approach that you're taking. And you made some very profound statements. I am born and raised a Buddhist, educated in Catholic schools, taught in a Muslim school, and I sing in the Catholic Church. That is my Buddhism.
Okay.
And I am a practical Buddhist. I am not into the in-depth sutras and all those things, but every day, everything I do, I always remind myself I'm a Buddhist and I have to live by the tenets of Buddhism. You mentioned 3 things: ego, greed, and anger. And as a Sri Lankan, I have lived here for over 30 years, and I feel that Buddhism is something for the pure at heart. But when I go to Sri Lanka, and we call ourselves a Buddhist country and there's all these rituals, I find that the ritualistic Buddhism has taken over from the practical Buddhism that you explained, coming from the heart. How can that be overcome? Because we are going through so much which is very much against the principles of Buddhism that we should be practicing even at very simplistic levels.
That's right. How interactions with people.
How we go about our daily tasks, how we treat people, our attitudes. You can bring Buddhism into everything. Even in this country, what we grew up with Buddhism, although I went to Catholic school, I had Buddhism every weekend, the teacher coming home, and it's still there with us. And when you spoke about anger, I used to work here for many years, and I used to find how short-tempered people were, and I could stay calm under the most difficult circumstances.
Right.
I think that was the Buddhist training. And I used to be asked, how is it that you do it. And that's what we really need now. And how do we do this? I have 2 growing grandchildren living in a Western country who are yearning for Buddhist instruction, but very few people can speak in English. That's another thing you said, that language is very important.
No, not the. I think for religion, again, I told like swimming, you know.
Yeah.
I say an experience of it, experience of the Dhamma is important for really giving the Dhamma out. Because even if I didn't know good English, but you know, if I generated that experience of it, there will be so many to translate it. Because that has so value, that has a mystical force.
Yeah, it's the mystic of Buddhism that has to be inculcated in the young minds. And I think my personal opinion, I don't know if anybody else will agree with me. I feel that we have to go back to the foundations again.
Yes, actually, as I told you, were you there in the other program?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh my goodness.
I wish I could devote more time. Like I said, I'm spiritual from the heart,
because,
but my time is divided between many things.
So it's like another program I might try to do. Shall I have to go through a little bit of it? But tomorrow you can come now. I mean, I tell one is high dosage, 3 hours. It is not something to be done twice. It's normally done once a month. And then once a month also for several years. Now, okay.
Because Buddhism can cure a lot of
I was
ills in the world. That's how we see it, but we are helpless. We can't make the impact. The impact is not enough from us.
Wait a minute, I will go through it slowly. What can I do? Say tonight I die.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put pressure on you, but this is something that works in my mind all the time.
Are you coming to the program tomorrow? Are you coming to the Washington Vihara program tomorrow?
I'm not planning to.
Because,
Can we have another one here?
Yeah, so tomorrow in Washington, not here, Washington.
Yes.
So he will have to go through that same again tomorrow.
Oh, can you videotape it for us?
It's already
Yeah,
done.
you already
It's already
videotaped
done.
the-
So
Oh,
you can
okay,
go through
okay.
that. So it's all practical.
Yeah.
And practical means I take the suttas and I pinpoint now in the modern world, only mindfulness is known to have a big effect on our,
Yes.
physical, also how the brain is working with the MRI scan they see, and how it is working, in our, how it's positively they are now recently finding out. But this is because we are tapping the energy part of our brain. Just paying an attention to a single object, like it is called Kaya Gata Sati, or you could say Iriyapate actually. So where you pay attention to, so this I have been teaching all the way, but this is only one, which now they call it the stress busting. They give a nice word, because they know how to present it properly. Unfortunately, we have all the techniques, but we don't know to experience it as well as present it. We don't know both. One is to experience it also. So if you really practically do, this is stress releasing. Now actually you're coming to the energy zone of the consciousness. Otherwise we are living in the stress zone of the consciousness. So when you go to the energy zone, you have so much energy coming, your mind becomes settled down and at rest. To do that, you have to give a simple observation, you have to give a simple object. So it may be, now I have been doing it with people who are taking me, driving to programs. Just giving them, because they all want to know how to practice while they are doing the normal work. So this is the main thing, how to bring the meditation while you are working. That means you don't feel tired when you are working, my friends. How to do activities without feeling tired. So if you do the job or activity without feeling tired, then only it becomes a good job. Right? They use this word a lot, right? Good job.
Yes.
Anyway, in America they have
Even if it is not a good job, they like to pep up your ego a little bit.
So this is very important. the kind of practice just to do it mechanically, not to put the emotion into it. Now this is one, and to pay attention to the immediate what you can observe. Say driving, for example, I see now these people, some of them I told them, they used to ask, now this is the time they meet me, the driving time. So they wanted to somehow get all the information from me. So they know I don't want to talk also, that I'm doing my practice. So the first question is, Bhante, is it okay we speak a little bit? So I can't say no, of course I would not say, but then I say, yes, Mukadda Mahatyo, but you want to know. So then they used to ask, like several questions they asked. Then one thing is how to meditate while driving, not driving, while doing work. So one of them I just told, now he was talking a lot this, that, so I feel sorry not to disturb him. I just told him, shall we do it right now, my friend? Can you feel the touch of your hand to the leather part of the steering wheel? I said, yes, sir, Bhante, you can feel it properly. And then you're seated like this, your chair is reclining. So you think of those reclining chairs in Sri Lanka, Hansiputtu, and why don't you relax in that chair properly and feel the seat touching your back? And then he went like that. And just focus on what you need to drive and just make sure you do this and get relaxed in your body. And when he was doing, he was quiet for some time. So I also just remained quiet because I knew he was mastering this slowly, this practice. And then when we came close to our destination, after 1 hour, 2 hours, he was quiet all the way. I said, Bhante, I never experienced like this before. I wish you always with me, he was telling. Of course, that 1 hour, 2 hours. So these are simple things. And others also now, they have got to know from here, I noticed they are going, Bhante, I didn't feel the journey. You don't feel time means you are breaking that time is in consciousness normally. Sense of time. And when you raise your mind to a higher consciousness, you lose the sense of that lower consciousness. So and that's normally the feeling you experience in that state is equanimity, upeksha. And when you get that upeksha feeling, you're in that no sad, no happy, that is real happiness. No bored, nothing. You're going to the samadhi zone of your consciousness. So that's where they don't feel the time. Now this is not nibbana, but this is a way to nibbana. It's very helpful. If you do these practices in your daily life, you will be creating the situation, the foundation for getting that knowledge of nibbana. It's a wisdom. So we read a lot of books, we study, we practice, we are not getting because we are not pure enough, tranquil enough to get that higher purity. So this is something, so this is one only, Iriyapate, this is only known, I'm not going to reveal to other scientists, they will then put it into another term and nicely put it, taking all the secrets out. We were known in the East so well for this wisdom, how the consciousness, what is consciousness even, what is the mind, and how it is get weak and how it can get strong. These are all very well known, my friends. But of course you had no time also, you studied other things and practice other things. And then you also become in the same, so the other one is actually sense control, indriya samvara. This is another one. More you indulge in the senses, more the pressure, the energy is lost. When the energy is lost, you need energy to go inside. Then only you get all these stress and things like that. So why there are rules to protect you from this energy loss? There is a reason. But I'm tempted here to explain the whole things, I'm not touching one part. I also tell how the addictive things happen, how the other dimension things influence. So you get a full picture of the mechanism of what is going on graphically. Then you have an idea what to, So these things, then it becomes a program. I feel, let me explain slowly, okay? Because this is also important. Normally in our life we have suddenly we put our life into we do hidden things. Sometimes we come for programs like this, like that, and suddenly sometimes we go and do some things which we don't want anyone to see or know. When we are doing something like that, that means certain degree of raga, dosa, moha, we open up the pitch that vibration level, we sometimes open up to certain pitch. So when we open up like that, the corresponding dimensions to that vibration level get open up also. And there are beings who get connected to you, who are in those dimensions. So when we know suddenly, we have a drive to do sin. We must know these forces are there in us. There are two things that help us to do negative things. One is those unseen forces we have opened and make you like addicted to something. You do it repeatedly. Other one is you are having wrong view about it. Because you can't enjoy sinful thing, without sort of justifying it, or just kind of, you have a mithya ditti about it. You maybe take drinks, for example, alcohol, thinking maybe just a relaxation, I need it. Or some other word you might use, biological need. This is another one they put for all the drives that you're having. So, or you would say, you will name it in any other form, like you might tell that, I have to talk a lot, okay, going into another plane of, maybe it's for health, you might think, for example, some are drinking wine, thinking cholesterol, is reduced drinking wine. Have you heard this? In France, So, okay, it's alright. It's okay. I think the cholesterol is made by certain forces. So they have made this idea, I think, because they can enjoy it through them. So for example, if you have something like that, if you're doing something hidden, this is, I call it, you put it into mud and then you do the washing, putting into mud and washing. When you know like this, there are certain forces that are driving you. Now today there are so many ways, not only bars and nightclubs and all that. The computer is a big nightclub. Computer has so many ways that the demon is making use of it. Now normally we know the evil spirits like the smell of alcohol. But here, there's another way to know whether the evil spirits come, from the MRI scan. Because for alcohol addiction also, addictions are all there for certain hormones that are put out. It's called dopamine that are sent out, and the same level of dopamine level is sent out when you're playing games, which an alcohol addict has or heroin addict has. Do you know this? This is in Oxford University. This is very well known. And the same level of dopamine when you're playing games. You're addicted to games. Now, I will tell you this because I have so many other ways of seeing this. There's another way that when someone who develops the mind, there's someone who had a power, there are like invisible beings come behind you, my friend. These beings are actually, we don't see them, but who have developed the unseen world, to see the unseen world, they would have some perception of it. So this particular rishi, I don't know how you know about anybody called rishis, like there are like meditators in the Himalayas who have developed concentration power, samadhi power. So there's one person I remember, he was able to bring those unseen spirits into the body who are coming behind you. So one occasion, one mom has brought a small boy because he was going for parties, he was like, like not wanted to study and all these things. So when he was brought, he suddenly became unconscious. Someone else was speaking through him. I saw this. And he was like this, I don't know how to, like you are in a trance or something. When he was in that situation, this rishi, he asked him, when did you come to this body? When he was 13 years old. Yeah? When this boy was 13 years old, he was answering. Then he said, how did you come? When he was playing games. I also was a little bit confused that time, Oh, games, it's like an innocent thing. But then I got to know how, when you are like, for example, wishing good thoughts, metta, or may these beings be happy and so on, we know, depending on the intention, the type of consciousness you get. So we know we have those positive intention and get a positive consciousness. But if you tell is killing and fighting something, that where you make your mind so obsessed to the material something, then definitely that type of consciousness will arise. So that is one way then to see when you get a lower consciousness, you get a lower connection. So then this particular dopamine is also very nice to see how the brain is functioning. That is so scientific. And then you can easily understand why the same rush is there of dopamine when you're playing games. And another place, the spirits, when they entered, they said they entered when they were using Facebook. Now, Facebook, I don't know. I have operated YouTube. Not before now because of the programs, I must tell you. If I operated these things when I was in the jungle or in solitude, I would not have anything today, or no one will invite me. We had only, a kerosene lamp and this, there was no lights, nothing. And there was much more enlightenment that time. Now there's so much light and there's no enlightenment. This you can see, the Aranyas, they all changed this few years. It's funny, I feel a little guilty also, like you have computers in the Kutiyas and Aranyas. Because I feel a little guilty for the programs. I have asked, there's no secret. I have asked for what is it, tab, no? iPad, okay. I don't want to keep a secret, I want to open because, but I really against this, tell you honestly. But I got some knowledge, information from this iPad and things like that. And you can't tell people not to do it now today. Because why? It's not possible, it's not practical, but you must make them enlightened. So there are some other places where the spirits, when they enter, they said, they were nicely telling, when you press the button when you open that website or that particular page, he said, that they are in our control. You don't have to really, when you just think of opening that page and so on, so they already. So my friend, dopamine is something, how it comes, you get like a shock feeling, some kind of, that's how the rush comes. So anything you feel very curious and want to, this thing, then definitely this, so you have to find out. Now the computer is neutral, it's just a technology. And you have the vehicle also, the cars, aeroplanes. It depends what you use it for. If you are using to go to the nightclub or somewhere, Las Vegas maybe here, I don't know, you have far away, right? Then it is. But if you are using for something to bring peace of mind and knowledge and all, that is okay. But the thing is, these things are operated by not enlightened people with sick minds. When you have a sick mind, if you are not awake, told about it, then you will be, this will take over you. And enlightenment and peace of mind will be a far away thing, my friends. So this is something I am just telling for even young people. This I never expected to discourse like this. It started in 2012. Because then I got to know that these are the things that are, blocking the people to really realize Nibbana. Because if you just keep on draining your energies and having addictions, in so many ways the demon coming and catching you. So when you get to know only this, you can keep away 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, slowly. And when you do like that, there is a repairing process happen. Because when you keep away, you get enough energy and a certain tranquility will come. Compared to that tranquility, something else also is created in the body, my friends. Like adrenaline is created when you get angry and so on, then the other way also, something has to get created. So what gets created is called ojas. I don't know whether you've heard this one. This is in the Ayurvedic term, it's called ojas, tejas. It is opposite to, it's mainly opposite to, the main thing that drains the energy is sexual activity and food. When these two are quite subdued, you get this other formation called ojas. This ojas, tejas, ojas is a very finest sort of material. It goes to you, it starts to move towards your brain. And the areas which the brain was not open, it starts to open. And it gets deposited there, my friends. And then when it gets deposited, those things actually start to create an urge for you to meditate and do these things. So it's like a positive thing. So when you create that cycle, it starts to slowly destroy that other aspect of the poisonous cycle you have created. So normally when it is much done like that, you can see a change in your body, the aura. Normally there will be a shine in your cheeks and forehead, and also nose. I will tell you, add another one. This, to get a shine coming in the forehead and the, so you don't have to apply, I don't know what you do, this Nivea. You have Nivea here, right? I was telling you, you will have that charm coming. So if you do it the other way, it's not a charm, you get this, you become like a clown. Even if you have a bath and come, you can't hide it, my friends. I'm telling you these things because I hope this is my main message. It's not to intellectualize and wait going on and on forever. We will not meet, who knows, next trip you might hear that monk who came, he's left his body in the Kailash. So this I can only guarantee you, I'm sure this is a period, a kind of a revolutionary period, where we are slowly going into practicing. I hope this will make you a U-turn, a kind of a change towards to make the maximum potential. Adyo. මම පිරිකර මොනවද බාරගන්නේ මොනවද බාරගන්නේ මම මෙහෙට පූජා කරන්න පුළුවන් What's the thing, right? So this is very, now when you do like that, you will get that shine and you will continue. This will make you progress, my friends. So games, Facebook, so any other thing you know that activates raga, dosa, moha too much in your system, this is dangerous. Now parents might worry, sometimes you have children and so on. Don't worry, my friends. You see, there is a secret. You may have all these situations, maybe your husbands, your wives, sometimes they may be doing wrong things, negative things. But how to make a change? How to help them? I know one mom, actually her son was a drug addict and was going here and there. And with this addiction, she couldn't bring him. Somehow he was going with all these gangs in Italy and everywhere. So one day she was so upset. So what she did, she observed 8 precepts. And she thought of the Bodhi tree and sort of focused on meditating on that. And when she was doing that, slowly, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, the 7th day, the sun was coming. Where's Amma? Where's Amma? So my friends, if you purify yourself step by step, if anything is there, you will find that the surrounding is made by you. And if you want to change the world, something outside, if you change, there's a nice story about Swami Vivekananda. Once he wanted to, someone came and asked Swamiji, my son is, Vivekananda Swami? Mm-hmm. He was in 1995, he was actually, it was like the Parliament of Religions. There, Anagarika Dharmapala was there. Actually, he made a speech. He addressed the crowd as sisters and brothers of America. Just that voice that came out so strongly and so something was there that mesmerized the crowd. And thereafter he became famous. Anagarika Dharmapala was also famous, but not much as Swami Vivekananda. That time, those days, they had a small plan, to show the Asian religion is. It was in Chicago. Asian things like idol worship and nothing. Only Christianity is really pure. They had this plan behind it. But somehow the one monk came from somewhere and just toppled the whole thing the other way around. And this Swami Vivekananda, so he became famous. This story about him, he was asked once, how can you teach my son who is fat and is eating sugar, how to stop sugar, to stop this eating? Can you please teach my son, give him some mantra or something? Then he said, well, okay, can you please come after 10 days? I will give you that time. So they came after 10 days. And then he said, well, Swamiji then told the boy, hereafter don't eat sugar. Then the mother was thinking, Swamiji asked, what about the mantra? I said, this is my mantra. Then why didn't you tell him 10 days back? 10 days ago I was eating sugar. The last 10 days I stopped eating sugar. And then, so this is some power, my friends. If you practice and practice, purify, and even if you worry about somebody, you must know that worrying about somebody is also an impurity. So if you begin not to worry about the person, is making your mind free from the defilement of being ignorant. But for that you need spiritual training. If you feel this husband or wife and all that what you perceive is really real and so on, so this you have to get an understanding of consciousness. Who you are, what is really you. Now sometimes we worry about what has happened. This crowd looks a little different, because I don't know whether they're all there. They're not all there, okay. Because I saw a certain group, it takes like 1 hour, but all were in a different mood, right? After it all changed. Because some I noticed they're coming with all worries, thinking of this, that, and then maybe that's what made them also come, I guess. But they can find out a way which make them not to feel anything. I call this the spiritual anesthesia. The problems are there, but you begin not to feel it. It's because of purity. If purity increases within you, you will become less sensitive to the external world. If you complain about something, that shows you're not clean yourself. So I told you these points, and I told you about this. Then another one called sense restraint. That's most important. It's other than being observant of the present moment of the body. Say you're washing your hand, the water touching, you must feel it. When you do like that, it will be stress busting. That's a nice word. And if you can do that, now just for the sake of stress busting, but this is also leading to enlightenment, the foundation for enlightenment. A person who is following this path, stress is a foreign thing. It should be a foreign thing. Who is not following this path, of course, the stress is a common thing, and peace is a foreign thing. Peace of mind. And there is another thing. I was with LTT. I think all this no one knows actually. Here, I happened to go as a wandering monk cutting across LTT area. So there too, they used to ask one in Kilinochi, one of the commanders. They asked me, I think Nadeshan, who was in charge of. He asked me, Swami, will we get peace? Immediately, what came to my mind was peace is inside, not outside. I was actually experiencing that. I didn't see them as LTT. I saw them as Panchupadana Skandha. It's the body, feeling, perception. And it also was formed out of craving and karma. But if they remove craving, they see the illusion, there is no distinction. Anyone can get enlightened. And I was having metta when I was passing the bunkers. So some of them thinking either this monk has to be mad or he has to be something, I don't know. So this was like from 1 month it took me from Gaul to Nagadeepa, back to Gaul. I'm telling these things in case, even if I had to pass away, this is my bana already. I tell always I'm not a glass monk. Actually there's someone else who inspired me. I had a guru, a German monk. He was the main who inspired me to live this kind of monk life. I was his attendant also. So these all, I didn't have time to tell all these things. I can't tell like that. But just to give you an idea, to make it a practical thing. So other one is called Indriya Samvara Sila. This is normally called, the monks practice Kotyak Samvara Sila. That means crores of restraint discipline. Now this happens automatically when you control the senses, when you screen what you are experiencing. Now I showed you in last time. Now when you see me, like when I can look at you like this, I'm seeing you, okay? Now I look at you. Do I look focused? Now do I look focused? Look at my eyes. Now do I look focused? Now? Yes or no? And now? No, okay. Yeah, not to be focused. This is a practice where you do, it's called Indriya Samvara. You don't take the details of your consciousness. So this is to be done when you're in a busy area. This is how you reduce the monkey mind. Now you have a lot of thoughts coming. How to reduce this? After you have created it, you can't stop it. First you learn not to create it. So this is when you're walking, crossing a road, for example. You can see the vehicles, but you don't see who is inside the vehicle. This is how you choose. You must see the vehicle so you don't make an accident, but you don't have to see who is inside the vehicle. Like that, when you're passing a street, some 2-3 people, you don't notice, you don't recognize who they are. So this is if you want to be a yogi, you want to develop that super stress-free mind. You really want to be blissful, blissed out. This is something, if you really want to then if you do these things. Now we only know, now these are told 4 things Buddha explains in the how to develop samadhi. Now samadhi means you're going to the powerful part of your brain, consciousness, energized part. So there, normally it is now very well known only mindfulness. But if you add this one also, it's going to take you to so if you really get absorbed, the other one is food. Tasty food. Food also drains a lot of energy. So actually, sexual activity also, that's the first number 1. Then comes food. So they are directly connected with the reptilian brain. Whenever you are even thinking, or the reptilian brain is functioning. So it's very interesting how the Buddha has laid down the gradual, like the grave offense and all that. It's for our protection. If you look at the MRI scan, very interesting, the grave offense part, where he says, monks, if you break, we have to sort of, that reptilian brain takes over the entire brain when you are going through that feeling. Like a peak experience in our, that say, sexual activity, that time, it's the reptilian brain taking over the entire brain. So then the other part of the brain gets shut down, my friends. So this one, what happens, no one explains these things, and we are frightened also to address because we are addicted so much to these distractions. So I know you have to go to the cities, you have to go through, traffic blocks and all this, you have to live a very different life. But I did explain this in Australia. And all the diseases they have got, not all, whoever I met, I know, who they had hypertension, hysteria, I don't know what, they named so many this thing. One of them, they came, they want to pay respect. I asked why. Then to see why the program was going, they had been putting that, from the cell phone or something, the husband, she was listening from there. And she was having all these ailments, psychological actually. And then something just like went away from, because now I happened to explain how with food, how 2 things, I don't want to explain, my organizer told something about me, not to test so high this thing to the people. But I told that, I'll be very, I'm like a commando trip. I'm not coming to sort of, either you want to get out, I give you tips, what I already did. And they can do it, I know. I know people can do it. If someone has done it, that same thing can be done by others. So, so those in Australia, I remember, I used to do the practice of how not to taste the food while eating. How to do it, I was doing that. And then because you see, you can watch when the food is touching, how the consciousness is coming. And you recognize in the consciousness only the factors. This is chocolate, this is ice cream, this is something. This is the perception and feeling. So when that food is no more touching the tongue, the consciousness is no more rising. You notice like that, how it's conditionally happening. So same way when you meet your husband or wife or child, that piece of flesh only, you're getting the idea of a perception. This is my son, this is my father. But it's not a real thing. Now even in food here, it's a muck that you're munching. If you can look at the other person eating without the feeling, you can know exactly. So same way, if you can watch your own self eating, you can separate consciousness from that, and you see the reality, you see the illusionary nature of consciousness. Do you understand this? I hope this. I am very happy to talk on this subject. This is where you are getting wisdom into seeing this is like not a thing to be serious about. And if you really do that, all your stress and this which was formed out of sort of strongly attaching to these things, they just fall off. So this is what happened to this particular lady. She came and she said, Bhante, and she said, now also I am having this particular, the one supervisors are coming where I am working. Normally I get gastritis and all that. But no, Bhante, now it's all gone. I was so happy. So now people think just be mindful and all that. Other indulgences in your senses, they will drain your energy. This is, if you do that, no point. Mindfulness is just a small thing. If you're addicted to some food, some even other bad habits actually, perversions, especially in sexual activity. From the age of 14, no one teaches us in school or anywhere. That's why I say even spirits get formed in the body. All these hormones start working in this particular body. They want to eat this muck, the fluid part of in the body. And when you have like that, you're driven to this. No one is helping you. No one helped us when I was in high school. We had to go on our own path. But now I wish, then I got to know that there are groups in other countries, even America and Europe. We should have it in Sri Lanka, We should be knowing when we have Buddha's teaching that there are groups knowing the damage, the danger of all the perversions to keep away from it for few days, to count the days, because it's not easy to do it also, like 1 week, 2 weeks, like that, slowly extending the period. So this is called, I don't know to refer, it's called NoFap, N-O-F-A-P or double P. In the YouTube you can find this entire group that has been formed like that. So this is very important for especially even some who are even 30, 40, 50. And any other thing we do other than the purpose of it, there's a damaging effect, my friends. Damaging effect means we get feather brain, they call it. You're excited by anything, you lose tranquility. So, because when you activate an animal part of the brain so much, in so much this thing, then the entire, it blocks that part that as a special human being that you can have to evolve. So sometimes to rebuild that again, it will take 2 weeks, 1 month, like that. Who knows, it might not be even can bring it back. So you just have to go on in those bad habits and so on. So this is something I want to really address. But when you do like that, when you keep away, I told you that blessings start to come. For 1 month, 1 week, you see you become more handsome. If you were 70 years old, you look 60. At least 10 years you can go down. And you don't have to go for plastic surgery. I was telling last time. Here they go on and on. Just, because this is not solved problem, my friends. They are still so identifying so much with the body and with those experiences as you. Now even in your normal life, if you have a certain reflection, even if you worry about something in the past, it is an experience through your senses, right? If you get sort of that with your eye or ear or something, right? So with your eye, what is it? Eye consciousness. And in eye consciousness, there is always the factors. You don't get consciousness without the factors in the consciousness. Say you remember John or Nimal or Sonadar or somebody, some name you remember, okay? What is that? Name is being conscious of something through your eyes, and you recognize its feelings, perceptions, the perception. That time it arose and it passed away. It's no more now. It's only in a memory form. So when you look at it, actually what happened, if you take a memory, a certain image of a certain person, maybe somebody you was troubling or worrying, or someone who praises, or any both ways, you put that and see what was it. You name somebody, but it's really an experience of consciousness. But it came and it left. So when you had those experiences, you felt it was I who experienced it. But do you get a feeling of I to something empty? Do you get? No. So the idea of I comes associating something. So you know that it's only an idea. It just came and went. If it is really me, it can't finish, it can't change. So you can just, when you do apply to what actually experience, that what you experience, you can just drop it off, it will fall off. And if you had some trauma or something like that, if you look back to that situation and really see those things happening and you sort of distance yourself, really see this is not me, this is not my real being. And you begin to more taste that emptiness under that, behind that particular picture. Like a projector, you have this screen, and behind the screen, it's nothing. It's just falling into that, and then you're getting all these things. So the mind as just empty mind, you begin to experience that. That is not Nibbana yet, but that is I would say, escape zone. you can really escape from illusion of nightmare and trauma. This is one way. And if you can focus and watch that constantly, you'll find, that if you had some worry or sort of draining effect, that will start to reduce slowly. And that is more becoming, you're losing the idea of self in those things. So to become, that is the final, coming to a more final solution of really, not taking things seriously, letting them fall off. And even something you expect, you don't want to, will you expect something or wish for emptiness? No, you are thinking of some picture to see, from some sound to hear, a certain way. But when you get to know that it's same, it's not me, it's never going to be me. So these are some things where you begin to understand. That's why Buddhism is, somebody said, is phenomenology. Study of phenomena is a very good way to put it. To study the nature of consciousness, how it comes and goes, how we experience it, how they are really you, or how the you is created. So I almost touched some of the things, okay? I'm going to do the last part of it, but any other question? It was a question and answer session. Any other thing you like to ask, and I can... So I told, because in Melbourne, I explained about this slightly in the first program, about how demons are involved in our addictions and our distractions. So one of the boys, they lightly heard this. And when he went to Melbourne City, he told me, suddenly he was like tempted from something. And suddenly remembered, Bhante told there are demons influencing us. It's true. And then he suddenly didn't do it. I was so happy. Oh my goodness. It's true. Someone just you have to get to know. You have to get to know what is happening in you. Any other thing you would like to know? Because my discourse, my purpose is to really this is my own life also. To make a change, to really do it, what is blocking you to that, what you're experiencing in life, to really notice it and then to overcome, to remove that. And I know in America it's more distractions, right? I heard this is the number one distracting place. But very interesting, as I nicely, casually want to talk to you all. When I came to the airport, JFK, right? I mean, maybe it's just I like to share with you all my personal some observation. I thought I'd come into Delhi airport is much better also. You understand? Did you notice that? I don't know. Okay. Even Sri Lankan airport looks better. No, really, I don't know whether they brought me from another area of repairing or whatever. But another thing, when I entered the toilet, there was an Indian person, I thought, what happened to me? Did I come to Calcutta or somewhere? I don't know, it was really a little bit surprising. There are I don't know what is that. There are a lot of people working, I guess, right? From India and all that. Okay. That was very interesting.
It's now the land of immigrants.
Immigrants, okay, right.
And that's causing, people are failing to realize that the US citizen today looks very different to the US citizen who came through Ellis Island. From Ireland and the European nations, so they find
Anglo-Saxon.
So it's a hard pill for some people to swallow.
Hard
pill for some people to swallow. But that the visual of the immigrants is different today. Okay, right.
But it's okay. I mean, I'm only thinking. It was like for me a little bit surprised. JFK. I always thought, okay, when I'm coming Heathrow. Even Heathrow Airport also. Yes. There's Sri Lankan, one gentleman who even dropped me to the gate, he was there all the way. So he's a Sri Lankan boy who was working in some shop somewhere. Yeah, it is okay. It's just I just want to ask, I was going to ask somebody, what was going on. All right. Any question? Doesn't matter, it's your karma makes you go here. In this country you can achieve Nibbana better, my friends, than Sri Lanka.
I think so too.
Yeah, because I think you can really appreciate and and if you can go without the culture and tradition, because this is like a poison, tell you honestly. And I tell in Sri Lanka also, if you can go to a Muslim temple, and now because they take it negative way, right? I'm not telling like that, because there are bodhisattva stories in Muslim history. Do you know this? Because not knowing only, we have all this idea. We only know ISIS as Muslim, right? Have you heard the name Yusuf?
Yes.
Yusuf? Hazrat Yusuf they call it. No, Hazrat means I think prophet, right? Yusuf. Who is Yusuf? Now in the Old Testament in the Bible they have Joseph. Have you ever gone through the story of Joseph? I mean, I have gone through, that's what I'm telling, but have you gone through? It's interesting. It's the bodhisattva story of a bodhisattva. Like Mahushada. These all, the story parts are mingled here, the wisdom, the compassion, and the connection with the higher realms. Now that of course taken as a messenger, that's okay, but all the scenes that are going through. So it's a Jataka story actually. If you take it was so interesting for me. They are inspiring me actually. I'm not caught up with a label outside. I like to see kindness. I like to see detachment and wisdom working. If that happens with anyone, that is my religion. That's my, wish, thing I would like to follow. So it's very interesting. And because my teacher is to explain those days, the Silk Route of China like this, so they brought a lot of the literature to that's how he explained. I don't know those days. I think maybe there's some truth in that. But that is not important. I see that you get those feelings. So some people will get very confused in my life actually. I came to the Dhamma through physics. I was to come to Princeton actually. That time my hero was Einstein when I was in Lesotho. Because I was interested in relativity, theory of relativity. And there's a long story how I saw certain, I used that to see the existence of other realms, like Tavatinsa, Tursita, this mountain. I predicted some of the question papers that were going to come. I don't expect the students to do that, but I had to do like that. And then the exam, they did come. So that was like my beginning meditation when I was 15, 16. And that brought me to another experience when I was 18 years old. I used to go for walks actually. And while going for walks, suddenly I had this out, not directly from this. It was like completely a new thinking, but like what are the causes for any phenomena? This is how I could verbalize what I mentally pictured. Suddenly I just saw like everything rises, passes away. This is how it came. Anything that begins in time definitely ends. But it was a mental picture of like rising, passing away. And there I saw, for this understanding, there's no beginning. Therefore, there's no end. And there, in my mind's eye, there was a picture of a monk. And it came to my mind that the monks are people who are trying to get this picture, vision. And they are just covering their last body with something called a rope. And I must be like that. And make this happen again and again. So that is the time I lost the wanting to go to Princeton or any university. Why, I tell you. Now after that experience, I'm seeing everything, that moment, I'm seeing everything like jelly. Like not solid. That's the closest thing I could come, because you can't explain this. It's go to an infinite zone. That goes to an infinite zone in your consciousness. I can't, if someone explaining me, that means really these people have not understood. But the closest thing I could tell is like when something solid is like jelly. Okay? But don't take it as something really, could not be, only can be experienced. So it came to my mind now, Princeton for example, okay? They are the longest thing that will survive. What will it be? Einstein also gone, everything gone. It's going to, I saw it perishing. Now I was picturing in that mental state, even those granite lecture halls, the buildings, I don't know what you call it, they were just disappearing. What to say about my going there and anything? Because they will stay long time, longer still it will be there, right? It will be there for another 100 years maybe, it's granite stone. So when you see like that, this is how, that's where I really gave up to any idea to go to States or anywhere. I want to either go to, so that's how my mind started to become a monk. Age of 18. Then I came, I met my teacher, the German Bante, and he inspired me more. He took me to the original sutras, the discourses. There I saw the same thing activated, the same essential experience. So I didn't have this cultural thing. I didn't even know the sutras initially, only once in Buddhakaya, not Kusina, no, somewhere in, I think, in the Dhamma when we went with my parents. The monks I asked the monks what are the sutras they chanted. They said, son, this is Karniyametta Sutra, don't you know this? I didn't know any of this. So, but that's why you could see even my way of delivering is so informal, right? Some of them in Sri Lanka, they complain, Bhante, why you look so relaxed in those countries. Yeah, of course, I'm presenting myself as I am. Then I want people also to open up in their honesty and sincerity. Then we can actually progress on this path. Really see the Buddha in his real form. Anything else you like to ask before I do a final kind of meditation? Any question you like to ask from what I explained or what you might have not explained?
I have one more question.
You are the question.
my mind ticks. You know, they attach importance to certain sutras and they say, like when you have problems, chant this, and you know, for me, Karaniyametta Sutra is everything. Everything. And I don't know whether it's my mind, my imagination or what. I've got so used to it, then I reverse the car from the garage, I say it in my mind. And if wherever I go, the parking space is just there for me. Whenever I did an exam, I take the paper and I recite it in my mind. And I never had to do it twice.
Right.
But is that my imagination or is that the real power of cleansing your mind?
No, the effect of chanting also has effect. But you must know the sutta is like the Karniyametta Sutta, the chanting is very good. It has an effect of, it's like a mantra also. But the real essence of the Karniyametta Sutra is when you attain dhyana from that. These are like signposts to get a certain type of consciousness. Like, you know, how he tells the meaning connected to that. That activates a certain consciousness. It's like your cell number to contact Sri Lanka. So this is not Sri Lanka, this is to contact Brahmaloka. Now even the Himalayas, when I was in the beginning times, I was going here and there, I came to the conclusion, the entire Himalayas is Karniyametta Sutta. That is that consciousness of compassion, the motherly compassion spread all over. The Bodhisattva went, there are so many birds. To perfect that consciousness is not something, that it's the mountains that are sacred. That consciousness has made the mountains sacred. So same way, it's the higher thing from Karniyametta Sutta, chanting part also. When you have people who have a lot of problems, I tell them to chant this much, this much. But that is when, like, it's like giving not the main dosage of it. The real one is you get the consciousness of it. All the suttas are like that. Now I tell you, okay, because good point you came. One other sutta, now for example, how to make it a practical one, where your problems just disappear. So it's not something you always think is anatta, you have to perceive it. Those days when they were cutting the hair only, they got the insight. It was not a big discourse. So like this, there are small, like pointers the Buddha gives in the suttas, which will trigger that vision. So that is something we can activate. When you read the sutta, we must learn to apply to our personal being and then get the actual idea. Until you get the idea, you must be focused. Now he says hardness here is same. Because that time no electron, description through electrons and all that, he takes in terms of nature. Now the nature here, hard nature and hardening, when you look like that, just because it's in this space, you get the sense of I. But really, in reality, it's a concept only. How the conceptualizing takes place. This is where the idea of ego can come in. So we did something in that program. I will do it here also, because I think there are more crowd here than there, right? It's a funny situation. Okay, so I'll do one thing to show. Maybe I need someone. Can anyone donate their hair to me? Huh? Anyone want to give donation? This is the donation they can give me. Who would like to give? Don't worry, I'm not going to eat y'all. Already one gentleman gave, no? Who was you? Okay, we can take it. Anyone else? There's one young boy there. Let him come. No, nothing. Okay. I just want to, because you're honest, you will tell exactly what I want you to do. Okay. It's okay.
I can give my
No. I have to give. I think he's a super golden boy, so I want to. Just nothing. I'm not going to disturb your style. I will cut it from some place where nobody sees, only the crows. Just a little bit, I think. I don't know, this I will take little bit, okay? Just not really. Do you feel the hair as you when I do like this? Yes. You do feel that? This is like that. You see, they are honest, you know. The young people are so like angels still. Oh. How do you feel? This is like now.
You get a haircut now.
Still, do you feel it's you?
Yes.
That's right. It's you. This you feel very much you, right?
Yes.
Now this, how do you feel?
That's part of my hair.
Part of your hair.
Yeah, that's still it hurts.
It hurts? So it's still part only, yeah? So don't you think while it's there, you can now sit down. You've done the job for me. Okay. Thank you very much. So he just feels it's a part of him still. You can see when he's more with this area, you get a sense of you, the space here. But more you take it out from here, so this cutting must be done with wisdom, not with this. There is a cutting that has to be done. So actually, you can see how it's in this space you get the idea of sense of self very much. But you take it out. So this taking out is not, I'm just making it very graphic. But this is the practice of meditation, where when you take things out like that, you see the illusion being taken out of a self, of a person. So now I was telling all this process of purification and calming, all that to get that part of the brain to work. It's not some complicated truth. You're seeing the reality as it is, the thing as it is. So you just actually, so now I'm telling like this, now tomorrow if your husband or wife scolds you in the kitchen, now this happened to some of in the program, they go back, they tell me, Bante, my husband scolded me, but I was able to see them as elements. This is only hard nature. I didn't notice even my husband. Only it's a vibration. And able to see it, now this is important, you don't react. So whether it's with your bosses, whether it is because you begin to, this has to be visualized mentally, what is really going on. So if this particular picturing happens, my friend, this is an exercise, this vidarshana, we call it. So when you read the original suttas, you take those parts. I would recommend to you all Word of the Buddha by Jnanatiloka Mahathera. This is like from the suttas taken under the Four Noble Truths. In this book you have about the four dhatus, how to take it apart. And when you do like that, the idea of self, you begin to know it, there's no really a self. Now there's no point hearing no self, no self. So many bhutas, pretas, yakshas, and the hell worlds who are suffering. Vetarani, Paduma, Vichya. May they get a human birth and go on this path. Then the higher worlds, Chatu Maharajika, Tavatimsa, Tusita, Nimatarati. They have very less greed, hate and delusion. They completely disappear. may they come to final peace. Then the highest worlds, Brahmalokas, they don't have greed, no hate, but they have delusion, a sense of I. Even when that sense of I is completely eradicated, how blissful it is, how weightless you are. Like those ancient enlightened masters, may that state of mind come to even those spheres. And sweeping down like from space to the Devalokas, then the Manushaloka, then the Sattva-loka, hell worlds, again spreading up and down. You looking like from space, like thinking, Mata Yata Niyam Pitta. I will give you some blessings. I hope you all have to keep a little bit, relax your bodies. Try to keep silent tonight. Tomorrow you can eat dinner or something, and morning you can speak. This energy, if you have to really speak, to say something, well, you have to then. But try to keep calm, relax. It will be in your system whole night. Just 1 minute. සාමංශ මම දැන් ඉවර කරන්න යන්නේ සාමංශ මේ මට පොඩි අදිෂ්ඨානයක් කරනවා සාමංශ වැඩින්න ඔහොම පිටිපස්සේ වැඩිටියත් කමන්නේ just relax your body, okay? देवतान वහන්සේලා की आरक्षा में बुद्ध धम्म परंपरा हो सकती है. Anyone have any particular problem? Feels you disturbing yours slightly, you can raise your hand slightly so I can see if you do have. Okay, it's okay. It bothers you still in your life. शासनी परंपरा सत्य बुद्धि बुद्धि सत्य put anything? No, not possible. No? Danda bani. What kari danda bani?
Same එක ස්වාමී.
ඔය එක තමයි.
අපි අන්තිමට දාපු එක නිසා.
පොඩ්ඩක් රිලැක්ස් කරන්න බඩි එක. Your son, no? You have son and daughter. See? Close your eyes, okay? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, close your eyes.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. thero's, Venerable Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka. We wish him to long life and good health to do the spiritual work. Now today's session is over. Tomorrow morning 7 o'clock, serving the Pindapata. He's taking 1 meal a day. If anybody want to, please join with us the Wheaton Temple. He will be here until around 2 o'clock. Then he move into the Washington Buddhist Vihara. You can have another 2 hours with him. And our temple sponsor for Venerable Gnanaloka to come to this country, and we very proud as a Wheaton Buddhist congregation his visit to here. And Mr. Yasas Jayaratna, he did the enormous coordinating work in order to success his visit to the USA. Now, thank you for all you come and keep up your spiritual practice. And Pritika, prepare, and other friends prepare to some snack. Maybe please enjoy and have a nice evening. With the power of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may peace and happiness for all of you.
You must begin to see it from your own self. That is no self. And when you're able to separate like that, if someone shouts at you, it should be practically done. You will find you can escape from that. If someone praises you, also say. Now today when I was walking, coming here, I was just thinking, same. Some people, this is my good karma, this period is working. So things are all everywhere, they're praising me everywhere. When bad karma comes, the very people, I have experienced this already. Many years, how I counted the exact dates when that karma will finish. In Buddha Gaya and other state, there are so many things I went through. So there you could notice, it's not, these are just drama happening outside you. But you learn to keep it separate. And you will never go out of your grounds of being awakened about the reality of things. So this something, this separating is very interesting, important. So when you can see medicine, this now say you have urine in your bladder. When you go to the toilet, when you feel very much is in you, it's me. But when it goes into this thing and mingles with the water, mixed with the water, just disappears. So it's a how even this house, the idea is a concept. Even the car or vehicle, you take the things apart. So that take things apart has to be done mentally, my friends. It's an exercise, it's a meditation. So that's why you have to silence, and then not to use these eyes. You have to use that inner eye and then watch hard nature here, hard nature. And liquid nature, the blood and the water that is flowing in the tap. You take them like that. The problem is we just see the perception of a person, this woman, this man, and the picture. My son. Son is a picture. Say a child dies and is reborn somewhere. If they bring that boy who is reborn again, will you like to bring that boy up? No, you want that old son, old picture of the same person. You are attached to a picture of something. So I don't have this experience of being a mother and father, but I have known my great grandma, how she, when the son was dying, she never went even. She had no tear even. But she has been practicing Navasivike, 9 days, how her body decomposes. She used to tell my mother, Nemaidwe Navasivike Vadanne. How the body so their entertainment was that they were sort of practicing these things. So then they knew how to remove the illusion, and it was a practical thing. They were not disturbed by, then when things happened, they were enlightened already. So this can do practically. This is something very important. Any other thing you want to ask?
I was actually I'm a little nervous, so I was debating whether or not I wanted to bring up this question. So I know we were talking about earlier how some people tend to take the outer forces that are not in their control and they stress about it. Like I know, for example, my mom, she stresses about a lot of things.
Understand.
But not necessarily as my mother,
Sri Lankans,
as a being herself. She things that are not necessarily in her control, people tend to stress about them.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's other people who experience more detachment, the opposite of that. People who don't really feel kind of careless, and I know in Buddhism, the detachment is the goal, but sometimes the detachment is too much, and it can cause this numbing sensation. Sometimes personally, I wonder sometimes what is the purpose of us being on this earth. If what Buddhism has taught us is that life is suffering. So
The purpose of being here is to know that there's no purpose. Actually, that is the real purpose. But to be realized that, no point just any word body I can just tell you like that, but it is to come as a kind of a experience in you. But regarding this, I was telling about these outer forces and all that. Now I'm telling you not to always imagine ghosts around you. You understand? Of course I'm not. I'm just telling when temptation comes, when things like suddenly you feel attracted to one boy or something like that. This is very true, because how this, suddenly you don't want to, tell your parents and do something with a cell phone or something, surely. Because this romance, how you fall in love is a very, very interesting thing. I got to know that these are the forces coming together, making the strong urge to, you fall in love with someone who is not even handsome sometimes. People are worried how you got interested with this person. So this is, you could notice these are the unseen forces, but that's why we have always to, the parents to come in, and that is a protective this thing for this. So for this only, just to keep away from, where you find, I'm not imagining telling you here may be a ghost, here may be a ghost. If you think like that, where there are no ghosts also, ghost will come. So this is not the way, it's okay, that part. But regarding detachment and so on, the type of detachment I'm telling is like this, where you don't, you leave something knowing the danger, the damage happening from that, okay? And immediately, it won't take long, when you've given up that, you will get a rush of another type of happiness. So you must see whether you are getting that. That's called the inner happiness, when you've given up that, because when you experience that, you're draining energy. So it's maybe the food, even you just check, not tasting the food. But if you are trying to meditate, you'll see, because meditation, you're trying to experience a subtle type of feeling of peace and relaxed feeling. So when you are given up like that, immediately if you sit for meditation, you'll feel like floating, or you get it more strongly. But if you taste the food properly and then meditate, you'll be weighed down. So you can see that when you give up a lower pressure, you're getting a higher pressure. Now I had to give up cricket, for example, because I got to know when I give up something only, I'm getting something higher. So detachment becomes fun after some time, but it's challenging, of course. It's not something, you have to, it's challenging, of course.
Especially around, I know people around my age, maybe, I would say maybe from 16 to 26, the whole process of becoming detached, it's difficult because this is an age where it's like a lot of things are fun,
Yes.
you want to go out with friends,
True.
and so I know, I know some people, it's like, I know the thought for many of us is like, when I'm 30 and I settle down, then I'll take Buddhism seriously.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's like before that, it's like a battle between, do I want to have fun and have a social life and be successful, have a good job, a career, or do I want to devote myself to something that I don't necessarily understand completely myself.
Yes. No, I think you should balance it. First step is parents, make them happy. This is one your first this thing. It took me 10 years of making them happy, and that I think it doesn't matter even if it took 20 years. A big experience, but in the beginning I did. I was really thinking it's a bit different way, but luckily I didn't mess up my way of doing things. But parents first, then. But parents also, if they tell you to do something which is bad, like killing, stealing, or something that you don't agree with them, lying sometimes, even for insurance policy or something. I mean, something to tell. This happened to me, and they told keep Shanaka away, because they know I would not do like that. But that sticking to my guns was, like they create faith in them. So these are the other things, even if you don't like, it's better to follow them. That you see in hindsight that you have done the right thing. These are like some tips about life. So this is something very with parents. Then after parents, this age, this is the main thing. You're under parents only you have to do that. But meanwhile, be careful also, all other things. Like if you get too exposed to certain activities, you'll be automatically driven to. So that's now, for example, there was an evening disco. Now, how old are you? 40?
I'm 19.
Oh, that's quite big now. But still, I remember at high school there was evening Fridays always a disco in Lesotho. So I would have been the first person who liked to go there. But there was so much shyness for me to ask my father the money to get the ticket, because knowing what was going on in the discos. So he might think, what is he up to? Why he wants to go like this? So because of this shyness, it protected me. And I must tell you, there was sometimes I was also interested in one girl, I remember, she was Charlotte or somebody. And then I used to look at her from far away, but close by I was very serious. So one day she noticed this, very interesting, she noticed that I was keeping away from any sort of this thing. I used to be like other children, but this matter, I was so, something was there in me. I don't know, I never thought I'd be a monk, but something was there, shyness. So one day she also, because now when I was doing like that, I noticed there was some personality building up. I see other students, they are going for all these things and they are like, they have no personality. And even in sports, in javelin, it's to throw this javelin, they used to wonder, they asked, what do you eat, Shanaka? And in cross country also, all these sports I used to do a lot of energy, and then this, I didn't know this, and then also some strength, like to face the even speech or something in English language or whatever, I used to do it properly. So then these people, I noticed that they were all draining this particular energy. This girl I never forget. Maybe the last year I was there in the high school. She couldn't approach directly because it creates a certain, it's funny, a personality, they feel frightened. So they asked through somebody else, another girl, doesn't Shanaka like to enjoy life? This was the question. They were from all over the world actually. From America also we had some students, and like everywhere, Germany, and I was the only Sri Lankan in that class, I guess. And then asked Chanakya, doesn't Chanakya like to enjoy life? It's funny, what came to my mind was, until I know the world, I will not play with it. This is what I told. I never imagined. Now I had a picture that one day there's some state where the world can be known fully. That means self-realization can happen. But I didn't know all those terms. I thought one day I will become that, and when I become that, I can go to the parties after that. Okay, because there's no problem. Then after going to this, and I realize that this has created a block to realize that I'm going to regret. Yeah. Anyone else? No, 19. Now you have passed the difficult state. No problem. Now it's okay. Anyone else want any? So I think I'll do the last meditation. Is okay. You might go on with me until morning. You got caught to my addiction. I will maybe do the meditation part. Okay. I think we already time is passing. These dykers have made this rope so big for me. They want me to get more fatter, I guess. Sri Lanka, they have stitched this for Vasa with so much thought. I mean, this is a painstaking. Normally, this kind of rope you can't get, which I like, of course. Because I'm also a very fashionable monk. Very this ascetic way I like. I don't know. Somebody said maybe previous lives would have been the pupils of Mahakashyapa. I really admire his asceticism and my teachers and all that. They were living a very, but I don't say that is something to see as something with enlightenment, but this is another way of a style of being a monk. Important is enlightenment is connected how much you don't get angry, irritated, or you become a good human being, loved by everybody. It's most important. No one should feel uncomfortable. They should be blessed in your presence. It's important. Whatever you touch, that peace. There's some things, the people who learn, in England, they were telling me, Bhante, we learned a very important point. That normally we get the idea we have to settle this, our family, our children, then our wife, and then we are having peace. We have to drop them to school, and then you're at peace at that moment, at that particular time. I got to know, Bhante, that first you attain peace and then you do those. This is important. I'm going to tell you in a short way. I think in my discourse it came out how it is done. That is something separated. You learn to get that tranquility in the morning, for example. And then you start the work. You keep that tranquility, make sure you don't lose it. So you check always what activity makes you lose and how you do it, that you will increase that particular tranquility. So that means you enjoy the peace of mind and then you do the other work. The work is filled with that feeling of peacefulness. So you will know that peace. So we don't take peace come from externally. It comes from internal attitude and internal certain practice. It's very much inside you. So in the morning, I hope you can try. You can sort of do this. So a small thing I recommend to you all. I call this if you want to be really enlightened, you have to get a sure source of knowledge from where you are going to be guided, right? How do we know? We hear bana from so many monks and so many people. So how do we know that which monk we will learn? I mean, how much? Now to know from somebody, we must know. Now if you want to come to, say, America, you have to find a good agency, in Sri Lanka, right? You go to a wrong person, who doesn't know, who has not even been, say, maybe America, you can be tricked. So same way, someone who has gone to Nibbana, we can make sure that if you follow that person, we will get to Nibbana. So how to know someone has followed Nibbana? Because his face is shining? Maybe he has applied Nivya today. We don't know. We can't read the minds. The enlightenment is inside the mind. We can't even read a normal mind. How to think of enlighten this thing. So actually, the Buddha says even how much you hear there's some enlightened person here there, don't say yes or don't say no to what they say. Whatever they say, compare with my Dhamma Vinaya. That is the Sutta Pitaka. So this is something. So now the problem is, if you know English, no problem, because English language, the translations are very good, no problem. If you are reading it in Sinhalese, there's Nadimala and Kiribat Kodahamdro, these sutras are there, but I can't recommend a single one because they are sometimes explained. No need to explain, just the literal translation. Buddha is not giving now, simply he tells you how, he gives you exactly, not too much, not too less. You only have to make sure you are calm enough to really get that contemplative level. And you get a sense, this is not me. It's very, very clear. But you have to sustain that awareness. The sustaining that awareness depends on your lifestyle. If you have a spiritual lifestyle, you will be able to sustain that awareness. So that means not only that time you are doing, when you are driving the car, you must get that freedom from tiredness. And you must get to that equanimous zone, where you're driving, you're feeling the immediate things and building up the mental energy, not worrying about. So these have to be done in day-to-day activity. Then you build up that particular thing to appreciate those original words. And when you can practice like that, then you are you can do many things even while, not only that, you can even contemplate your body while driving. So this happens later. You can't at once bring those things immediately. First you master to have tranquility, and then you can get wisdom out of it. So I would recommend, the word of the Buddha in English. I hope you can go through that. That is your GPS. You need a GPS, right? Do you know the meaning of GPS? Guru, position system. You need a guru, right? So this is important. You need a GPS for this. So you can't rely, who knows what I have experienced. I might talk all these things, but who knows? We have a master. If some monk is really sincere, he will direct you to the original GPS. And not only to have it as a knowledge, you must then take it out and, I give you some idea. I'm going to take little part and practice now, okay? Just a very 5-10 minutes one. 5 minutes maybe. So just to give you an idea, when you're reading, you might keep it in the bedside. There's a word, middle end discourses by Bhikkhu Bodhi, very good translations. Now sometimes it doesn't mean you have to read all that like a novel or something. It's just maybe a small sentence that will trigger this. So if you don't understand, skip one part, then read another one. Okay, if you understand something nice, you note it down, separate it. So like that, when you go on, the master will guide you all. And the Satipatthana Sutta, very interesting, apply it. I have no time to really explain a lot about it, how it is done. But I have given you the groundwork and how to slowly actually come to an experience of realization. All these things I have done myself. It's not something I just sort of repeat from here and there. So this I will guarantee you will have that inner happiness. Even if you don't have anything more, you will get that increasing in your system. You will not feel tired. And you have to be careful if you're married, your husband, your parents. These are the main karmic connections. If you go through my other, YouTube, I don't want to recommend like that. Then, it's like I'm guiding you to sort of rely on what I'm saying. No, you read the Majjhima Nikaya, Middle End Discourses. Forget about YouTube, this thing. There you get directly from the Buddha himself. But you have to go through that a bit. But the small book, Word of the Buddha, is enough. Any last questions anyone to ask before I go into this, conducting this small meditation? Anyone want to ask something? Are your answers all answered? All of you are enlightened? How is it? No more questions. Anything? So, I will be doing something after this last certain blessings. I already did it. So I told after that, don't talk very much because you are not meeting, we are yogis actually. So certain energy from those mountains of the Himalayas, those energy that I will be doing it now, giving it to you all in a certain way. That is like to, it will open up certain part of your brain and certain blessings will go in the night time also. But to do this, you must not chatter. You must, like those monks or yogis, they remain in silence to gain this. If you remain more like that, you can get more blessings out of it. Otherwise, it will just come back, that energy back to the where that was created. So, one thing, before you start any meditation, whenever you are doing something, you must try to pay attention. Just pay full attention to what you are going through immediately. Can you do that? Don't close your eyes or anything, just relax. Think you are in front of a beach or something, or some nice scenery in the park.
When we go to the bed and we can do the meditation, the sleeping while.
Where?
When we the sleeping time and then the bed, we can do the meditation.
Bathing time. You mean having a bath, you mean?
Bedtime.
Bedtime, yeah. Yeah.
Sleeping time while we're sleeping, before sleep we can do.
Before sleep, yeah. And you'll have good sleep then.
Yes.
And when you get up, you look fresh. This will be a special sleep if you do it and do sleep like that. Yeah, this is what you can do. And so normally you learn to relax your body. Okay, first tighten your body. Tighten like this. Can you tighten?
I never do that when I do.
Much as possible. No, relax. You try to tighten hard. And
The breathing.
you must no need breathing. Don't think about all this breathing thing. Just get the idea of how you feel tense. You must feel rigorously exhausted with being tense, and then just feel relaxed then. Okay? These are small tips for you to get some idea of just how to get the relaxing of the muscles. I normally do something, but it's no time for it. Then you pay attention to what the sounds you're hearing immediately. Relaxingly just relax yourself. Someone coughing, did you hear? Relax and trying to just listen to what is going on. Some electronic sound. If you are really relaxed to a certain point, someone coughing, you'll be noticing naturally your bodily function of in-breathing and out-breathing, inhaling and exhaling. You'll be noticing that. Inhalation and exhalation. Don't do it consciously. When you're really calm and paying attention to the sounds, you'll be noticing naturally that you are like taking the breath in and out. How your lungs are expanding. You naturally notice. I just don't think about all the meditations you have learned. I'm not going to that. Just get natural. And now you have to picture yourself how you're seated, maybe dressed with some cloth. In my case a robe. In your case maybe certain frock or shirt or whatever. Wearing glasses. Just picture yourself like from outside. All the while relaxing. Now if you are doing this with the Dhamma books with you, just an idea how to apply it, I'm telling. If you have Dhamma book, a sutta or whatever, what the Buddha says, you try to see now. Your being. Buddha says, Rupam bhikkhave nityam va anityam vati. He's questioning you, is the body permanent or impermanent? Now you forget about all the things you have heard about impermanence. Just plainly relaxing. You watch this so-called body of yours, dressed with robes. And you know, in the course of time, this is bound to die, bound to get old, bound to disappear. You know already people who died, your uncle, your aunties. Same thing going to happen to this body. When you mentally visualize that and apply to yourself, you feel peace. Then you answer the Buddha, Anityam Bante. It is impermanent. Yampan Anityam Dukkang Vatam Sukhang Vati. What is impermanent? Can you call it happiness or sadness? Something bound to change like that. Even if you have the best of life, when you have to leave it, when you are bound to leave, it will cause so much sadness. So you answer the Buddha, Dukkam Bante. Yampana Anityam Dukkam Viparinama Dhamma. What has a nature of change and suffering, can you call it, this is me, this is myself? Can you call, this is my ego, this is myself? No etam bante. No, master. This you look at it with the idea of letting go, like floating yourself from the mind. If you are very attached to the body, it's not possible to do all this observation. Even now, when you watch like that, how peaceful it is. If this peace increases in me, with strong observation and letting go, I would attain Nibbana. May I have this experience more and more. You wish for yourself, just like me, all who are in this hall, may they also experience this inner bliss, final peace. Not only them in the hall, like you are going in a helicopter, who are in this area, neighborhood, this entire temple, and this area, New Jersey, maybe other states, entire America, South America, Europe, England, Africa, China, India, Australia, entire humanity. Like you're looking from space, may all those human beings come to this experience. Like thousands of ants. Not only those human beings, animals, so many billions of them, microorganisms. Then the unseen spirits, there are so many bhutas, pretas, yakshas, and the hell worlds who are suffering. Vetarani, Paduma, Vichya. May they get a human birth and go on this path. Then the higher worlds, Chatu Maharajika, Tavatimsa, Tusita, Nimatarati. They have very less greed, hate and delusion. May it completely disappear. May they come to final peace. Then the highest worlds, Brahmalokas, they don't have greed, no hate, but they have delusion, a sense of I. Even when that sense of I is completely eradicated, how blissful it is, how weightless you are. like those ancient enlightened masters. May that state of mind come to even those spheres. And sweeping down like from space to the Devalokas, then the Manushaloka, then the Sattva-loka, hell worlds. Again spreading up and down. You looking like from space, like thinking, Mata Yata Niyam Putta. Saika Puttana. I will give you some blessings. I hope you all have to keep a little bit, relax your bodies. Try to keep silent tonight. Tomorrow you can eat lunch, dinner or something, and morning you can speak. This energy, if you have to really speak, to say something, well, you have to then. But try to keep calm, relax. It will be in your system whole night. Just 1 minute. සාමන්ස මම දැන් ඉවර කරන්න යන්නේ සාමන්ස මේවට පොඩි අදිෂ්ඨානයක් කරනවා සාමන්ස වැඩින්න ඔහොම පිටිපස්සේ වැඩිටියත් කමන්නේ just relax your body, okay? සකලෝක ධාතු උත්තර වහන්සේලගේ මහා ගුණ ශක්තිය දිසාවට හිමිතපතේ වහන්සේ පෙරපුර ශක්තිය හිසත් උත්තම ඥානය මතකරන් ගමන් කරත්වා සතර පාට නිවැටි බුද්ධ මාතාවගේ ආපු මහා කරුණා මහා ගුණ ශක්තිය ආශිර්වාදය කරනවා දේවතාන් වහන්සේලගේ ආරක්ෂාවෙන් බුද්ධ ධම්ම Anyone have any particular problem? Feels you disturbing yours? Slightly, you can raise your hand slightly so I can see. If you do have. Okay, it's okay. It bothers you still in your life? Sasni Parampara Satyapati Buddha Sattva Palati. Can you put anything? No, not possible. No? දාන්න බෑනේ. මොකක් හරි දාන්න බෑනේ.
same එක
වේකන.
අපි අන්තිමට දාපු නිසා
පොඩක් රිලැක්ස් කරන්න බඩි එක. Your son, your son and daughter. See? Close your eyes, okay? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, close your eyes.
कुकर्मी कुसंगी कुबुद्धि कुदास कुलाचारहीन कदाचारलीन कुदृष्टि कुवाक्य प्रबन्ध सदाहम् गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानि गतिस्त्वं गतिस्त्वं त्वमेका भवानि प्रजेशं रमेशं महेशं सुरेशं दिनेशं निशीथेश्वरं वा कदाचित्
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. thero's Shani, Venerable Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka. We wish him to long life and good health to do the spiritual work. Now today's session is over. Tomorrow morning 7 o'clock, serving the Pindapata. He's taking one meal a day. If anybody want to, please join with us the Wheaton Temple. He will be here until around 2 o'clock. Then he move into the Washington Buddhist Vihara. You can have another 2 hours with him. And our temple sponsor for Venerable Gnanaloka to come to this country, and we very proud as a Wheaton Buddhist congregation his visit here. And Mr. Yasas Jayaratna, he did the enormous coordinating work in order to success his visit to the USA. Now, thank you for all you come and keep up your spiritual practice. And Kritika, prepare, and other friends prepare to some snack. Maybe please enjoy and have a nice evening. With the power of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may peace and happiness for all of you. Sadhu.